you know, and it's unfair. I know they got the Joyces involved, saying, oh, they're going to take the name off the field. I mean, why do we even go there? Well, anyway, please. And so I support this 1,000%, but I haven't heard from the public, and I expect there to be a public hearing on the 20th. We're just trying to figure out the time. We'll make it public, and we'll hear from everybody. And at the end of the day, we'll move the way the public wants to move.
Jim,
Yes.
I know that the Beauregard family, who's related to my daughter-in-law, their cousin, wanted something concrete, and it's giving they're a big family, a lot of peace, needless to say. And hopefully, through word of mouth, if you have your major, there will be people, maybe not from within the town, because I know Matthew's family, the Turcots, etc., big family, Rivera's big family, and it will reflect on their loss as well. And there's others over the years that we've lost. And I think their families will, hopefully they'll be there, and it'll just be something to remind them that people still care. No big thing, and if you don't like it, you know, this is a republic, you can get up and speak your mind.
Right.
But I think it's giving families that have had great loss something concrete to let them know that they're still being thought of.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And you know, I can't say it any better. I mean, we want to do the wall of the honor wall where the veterans have fallen in town. We want to make this a great community complex. Right? And we're trying very hard. We understand, you know, we might have to spend some money. We understand that we have limitations on all that, but we'd like to make it a community area. Honor the veterans, honor the fallen.
I'd just like to add something to that. Part of what we do, the Parks and Rec, is try to gauge what the community may be interested in and how to improve assets, right? So some of the things we looked at is we've got this beautiful facility here that may be underutilized. So the last meeting we had, we've got a new Parks and Rec coordinator on staff here in town, Kate Pasquarello, is going to do a great job. And we talked about, wouldn't it be great to have beach volleyball courts back there that people could use? And, you know, if we had a concession stand with sanitary facilities, that seniors maybe would be so reluctant to come here and realize they have to use porta-johns, but they could use clean bathrooms, right? Maybe we could get some more senior interaction over there. Maybe we could get some bocce courts in there. We could hold bocce leagues for seniors. Great game. I love to play myself.
Tony, do you think it's fair to say that we took maybe a little step forward the other day at our meeting we had up at the field with the...
Yeah, I'd say we did.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to take more steps because this is about improving an asset and making North Smithfield a better place to have fun, to get recreation. And I think specifically what we're trying to do here with Veterans Memorial Stadium is make it a focal point of the town, a source of civic pride. Not to diminish somebody's memory, remove somebody's name. Never going to happen, never was going to happen. Thank you, Jim. I'll take any questions you have.
I don't think we should put volleyball courts up there. Watch ball, everything.
You know what, I respect that, Tom.
Oh, God. Love it.
More of a statement. I really appreciate you've been, not just you personally, but the whole recreation, Parks and Rec team. It's been spearheading this for far too long. Not through any short-sightedness on your part. But I want to Thank you for taking this effort. Thank you.
Well, you know what, it's part of what we do,
Yeah.
and we signed up for it, and we're glad to do it. And I can tell you, as far as the Turcotte family goes,
They're wonderful people.
he's, Matt's uncle is, again, a longtime close friend of mine, and we're working on a number of things to commemorate Matt's memory, as we need to.
Well,
As a
including,
town.
and no matter if I'm here or there, I'm just a resident, wanting to see something done. Johnston's done an awful lot. Smithfield.
And this is not a unique concept, folks. You know, my daughter used to play soccer at Veterans Field in East Providence. We're honoring a special group. That's what we're trying to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Garrett. Hey, I would just like to add one thing regarding you and Mr. Nagel. I don't know if anybody realizes, but you don't even have any kids in the system anymore. Right? And there you guys are banging away all the time. We're trying to get track teams going, trying to improve our parks, trying to improve our recreational facilities. And you don't even have any kids in the system, which is very admirable. I got to give both of you a lot of credit.
Well, thank you very much. We live here,
I know.
right? And we're trying to do the best we can for the town.
Usually what you see is people that are volunteering, are partaking, have kids, and that's, they have an interest, they have a stake in the game, but as you do too, but you know what I mean, more of a stake, and there you are, there you guys are all the time.
Well, we enjoy it. Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, it's not a public hearing.
I have a question. You said you're requesting...
No, he was referring to the council.
Oh.
All right, go ahead, real quick. I'm just a nice guy. Go
I just want to know.
ahead. Go ahead.
Is the athletic complex part of the school, or is it part of Parks and Rec? That's it.
Mr. Lombardi,
Part of
can
the
you
town.
clarify that?
I think the school has custody and control over it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so the motion is going to be a non-binding. It's just to let the school committee know when they have their public hearing. I'm just going to make a motion to let them know that the council supports this concept of naming, adding the name of Veterans Memorial Field Stadium. So when it goes before the school committee, I want you guys to know that we support it if it passes. All right? So
Second, Mr. President, that was your motion?
that's my motion.
Second?
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Bottomoli?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara?
Yes.
Mr. Zwolenski?
Yes.
Mr. Beauregard?
Yes. Now, when you have your hearing, you know you got the support of the council. Thank you very much. Discussion by council vote on other action on noise at Stop and Shop location. Mr. Zwolenski, you requested this to be placed on the agenda.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. Mr. President, I think we all received an email from Mr. Pelletier. I contacted Mr. Pelletier, went on site in his backyard, and of course, Mr. Pelletier will elaborate in much detail,
Yes.
but we also had the assistant zoning official show up. For the three of us that were there, we're representing the majority of the town. There's a concern with noise. It's Saturday afternoon, I can understand, and I want to make it clear too, that the leaves were all on the trees. So whatever the deciduous leaves may have blocked noise, they did not. I don't know how the folks over there can enjoy the peace of their backyard with family. I heard trucks, I heard pallets dropping off forklifts. I mean, you know, it was so loud, I don't know if somebody was just throwing those plastic things around. But it's a problem, and I'm going to defer to Mr. Pelletier to give us more detail.
Thank you, Mrs. Zwolenski. Before I get started, I just wanted to recognize members of the neighborhood or the residents that's kind of nestled behind Stop and Shop. So if you can just raise your hand, folks representing our neighborhood tonight, thank you. So and thank you. It's late. It's evening, and appreciate you being here. What I'd like to do is I'd like to read the email for the record that was sent to the town council and Mr. Zwolenski and several other people. I think it'll give you a good sense of what's going on, and then a couple other comments. Town of North Smithfield Town Council members. Can you hear me okay? Yep. There are residents of North Smithfield that need your help. I am writing you on behalf of the neighborhood of Merrimack Road, Walsh Ave, Chester Street, Wedgewood Drive, Candlewood Road, and Indian Head Lane. Essentially, the neighborhood nestled adjacent to the Stop and Shop loading dock. We are exposed to excessive noise stemming from the loading, unloading operations of Stop and Shop. Essentially, the noise you would hear if you were standing on their dock is the noise we hear every day for at least 15 hours per day, 7 days a week. We hear every backup alarm, air brake, trailer doors opening and closing, refrigeration units, pallet jacks, forklifts entering and exiting trailers, pallets and plastic crates being dropped on the cement loading dock, and an ungodly sound every time a specific load platform is raised and lowered. We hear it all. Attached is a copy of a petition that was circulated through the neighborhood. You will find 25 of approximately 30 residents signed in desperation to have the issue at hand resolved. We encourage you to visit the neighborhood and check it out yourself. You have my permission to enter my property at 10 Candlewood Road. Mr. Zwolenski and Mr. Johnson did come to my property on a Saturday afternoon around 2 o'clock afternoon, and they did hear the noise, as Mr. Zwolenski alluded to earlier. Okay, this isn't one person with an agenda. This is a neighborhood, and members of the town council have heard the noise. And to be honest with you, the Saturday afternoon isn't even the worst. Furthermore, loading and unloading operations often continue long after the 10 p.m. curfew. And to top it off, Stop and Shop is now loading heat mod trucks from the storefront after hours, which is a source of noise for residents in proximity to the front of the store. This is coming from the store manager, Mr. Turcotte, that has told me that they are loading those heat mod trucks out of the storefront so that they could minimize the noise, that the after-hour noise, that being after 10 o'clock, off of the loading area in the back of the building. Over the course of the past couple of years, going back as far as our previous administration, the police have been called on numerous occasions to stop after-hours activity. Spoke with Captain Lafferty on multiple occasions seeking advice, met with Stop and Shop managers, and called Stop and Shop's consumer advocacy group on multiple occasions. Other than Captain Lafferty's advice, all these efforts went unheeded. To my knowledge, the noise ordinance was never enforced where violators were fined as per the ordinance. Essentially, we become prisoners of our own homes. There is a long history of nuisance noise complaints with Stop and Shop that date back to when the store first opened. There's been no improvement in suppressing the noise or managing the hours for which loading and unloading operations persist. In some instances, it has gotten worse. We, the residents of the aforementioned neighborhood, want Stop and Shop to take responsibility for the excessive noise they are emitting and operate within the guidelines of the town's noise ordinance. We are strongly recommending an earthen noise suppressing barrier be constructed to protect our neighborhood from this terrible issue. The residents of the aforementioned neighborhood need your help. We are asking that this issue be scheduled on the agenda for November 19th town council meeting. I do thank you for bumping that up. I wish I had a little bit more time, but I'm grateful that I'm here in front of you speaking today. I just want to read a quick email from Mr. Johnson. I had sent Mr. Johnson an email following up, asking if he looked into any other I'm not sure how to put it, but any other guidelines or rules that Stop and Shop was under. And so he said, Steve, it was my pleasure. When I came back at 8:45 p.m. Saturday, I could hear the activity going on at Stop and Shop. I am working on the research in regards to zoning relief and the standards for determining if the noise ordinance is being violated. First and foremost, thank you for coming back. And secondly, I hope it gives you some kind of idea of what we're dealing with, okay? The noise ordinance says operations are to commence between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. That's 15 hours. We're exposed to this noise for 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think there's one day that Stop and Shop closes, so maybe, or two, maybe it's 363 days, I'm not sure. But we are constantly exposed to this. We are prisoners of our own homes, okay? We can't sleep with our windows open at night. We can't enjoy having a picnic or an outing on a weekend on our back decks. We can't enjoy being by our swimming pools, okay? It's just, it's overwhelming. It's too much. It's too much. We'd really like Stop and Shop to, and we're not, none of us want Stop and Shop to close, okay? This is our neighborhood grocer. This is a social outlet for us, and the convenience of Stop and Shop and everything, okay? By no means are we asking them to stop or leave. They're great for our tax base, I'm assuming. But again, we just want them to take responsibility for the noise so that we can live in our neighborhood and live, you know, at peace. I think that was it. Any questions from the town council?
There's got to be a balance, right? There has to be a balance, and if they're abusing that, then I think it's definitely something that should be seriously looked into, and we'll follow through on this.
The houses were there also before Stop and Shop were, and if promises were made as far as noise abatement, etc., then we have to start, you know, number one, let's try to work together first. The barrier is one way that they can put up, because evidently the trees that they planted years ago aren't doing it.
Oh, I was going to say, what trees?
Well,
There
you know what,
were
this
trees
seems
that
to be a
were-
unique situation. Have you done any, not that it was on, but have you looked into like what other people, communities have done in situations like this?
I mean, I'm not a sound engineer, so...
I'm not asking you to do it, I'm just saying that people
Right.
trying to do it.
You know, and you know, the earthen berm that I'm talking about is just an idea. But you know, there are facilities. We see it on the side of highways. You have these barriers, these sound barriers, things of that nature. I haven't gone there firsthand, but I hear that in Seekonk, the FedEx complex in Seekonk, when they built that, they did this great noise berm for the neighborhood, and with trees and fence and everything. That's what we're looking for. You know, like I said, it's overwhelming. It is nonstop. There is no reprieve from that noise at all.
It's a reasonable request.
It is.
Well, I'm surprised that you haven't been here in Mass before the time.
Well, thank you. You know, I tried in you know, representing the neighborhood, tried to go the direction of getting the advice of our police department, and talking with Stop and Shop and calling their consumer advocacy group, things of that nature. And honestly, and Steve Turcott and the manager before, Dave Poisson,
Yeah.
all great people, but it's bigger than that.
Right.
One thing that I'd also like to mention, and just some food for thought, when you look at that Peapod operation, okay, I've counted as many as 13 trucks there.
I got 15 one night.
Okay, so even you know, even if there's 12 deliveries a day, something I want you to think about. That's 12 times that truck gets those trucks get loaded. That's 12 times they get unloaded. Okay, so that's 24 times that we have to listen to backup alarms per day. Per day.
I have heard that North Smithfield Stop and Shop is the Peapod store. That is where they're basing most of the deliveries out of. So it could be why it's so bad now.
Well, and thank you. And the, you know, the other thing to think about it is all the loads and the product to support that Peapod business. That's all those additional trailers and everything to support that business. It's too much for a neighborhood where you have 30 houses. It's too much noise, and there has to be some kind of resolve.
You know, I think of the closest other Stop and Shop locations, one being Lincoln Mall, where there's really no residential around it. And then the other one is on Middle Spring Avenue. There are some residential somewhat removed.
River right there, too.
Yeah, there's really got 146. I mean, there's a lot of sound deadening, things going on. I would like to somehow through council, if you would support this. One is ask the police department, and we're hearing tonight that they're stretched out on road issues, but to have them, the police station's right there, to go through the parking lot and stop by enforcing the times that the operations will allow. The second piece is to maybe ask the town administrator with the town planner to meet with Stop and Shop to see the feasibility of putting up some sound, some sound deadening materials.
Is the problem something that, I don't think it's a police problem, I mean.
Well, if they're operating at night.
Is there an issue with after 10 o'clock?
Yes, the answer is yes. The answer is yes, and I think the store managers have done everything in their power. I mean, there's a sign right there from the entrance when they come down the side of that building, as they're about to take that turn to the loading docks. There's a sign right there that says absolutely no loading, unloading between the hours of
and
this and that.
I talked to Dave Poisson.
Yeah,
and he told me that there's signs, and there's signs at driver level, and there's signs on all the doors, but what he explained to me was that if they have a load and they were delayed for whatever reason, an accident, traffic, bad weather, that load cannot just sit in the truck, you know. And I said, well, of course there's going to be extenuating circumstances from time to time, but if you're abusing it, then they're not going to be as forgiving when it's legit. But he did try to explain that the reason why some things are coming in late, but it sounds like it's more than just extenuating circumstances. It's a regular basis.
yeah. And John, that's a good point. And so the thing, you know, giving it a lot of thought is, so that is part of their business. That's a dynamic of their business, right? Accidents are going to happen. There are going to be snowstorms. There's going to be times that they're probably going to have to unload trucks after